Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Adams Brothers Podcast. Happy Veterans Day to all of our veterans out there. Thank you for your service to our country. We are joined here this evening by the Vice Mayor of the city of Deerfield Beach, Florida, Mr. Todd Drosky. Welcome to the Adams Brothers Podcast.
Welcome.
Sir.
No, thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So, we're here to talk about a few topics here today. So why don't we just start out by you go ahead and introduce yourself and tell the viewers out there all about Todd Drosky and whatever information you would like for them to know about you.
Okay, before I start that, today, like you said, is Veterans Day. So I do want to wish all of our veterans a happy Veterans Day. Thank you for your service to our country. We live in the greatest country in the world thanks to your service. And so my father served in the United States Air Force, and there's many men and women that have done so. So thank you very much for what each and every one of you done for our country.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
So I started in 2017. I was first elected to the commission. And I really want you and your audience to know what got me involved in local politics. So back in probably the 2007, 2008 timeframe, Sprint wanted to build a cell phone tower in the Villages of Hillsborough Park out west where I live. I live on the Villages of Hillsborough Park, and I was an ordinary citizen. And one morning, all these bulldozers came into the park and they started to rip up the ground. And I'm like, what in the world is going on here? And so long story short, Sprint received authorization from the city to install a cell phone tower into this small pocket park in West Deerfield Beach. Now, if you're not familiar with the Villages of Hillsborough Park, think of a square. And on three sides of that square are homes right on the border of the square. And the fourth line of the square would be the Hillsborough Canal. So you have this small family pocket park in West Deerfield Beach, 3/4 surrounded by residences. That one morning, bulldozers came in and started to rip up the park. And so I'm like, what is going on here? And so they received permission to put in the cell phone tower without notifying the community. Like if you're a developer, or if I'm a developer, or anybody's a developer, and they want to build a project in the city of Deerfield Beach, there's a circle, a radius of 500 feet that you have to give public notification to. Well, back in those days, the city exempted itself from that ordinance. There was no public notification, so the public had no idea. And the cell phone tower that I'm talking back in those days is not the pretty flag poles or palm trees that you see today. It's the metal, tall, gangly arms with a power generator cell tower that is basically a nuisance to the residents and a danger to the children that play in that park. So I, along with many other residents, banded together and fought and came to city commission meetings to get the cell phone tower out of the park. So the cell phone tower never went into the park. They poked the bear, so to speak, and I've been involved with local politics ever since.
Okay.
I remember that.
Right.
I remember that cell phone tower. I remember how that started out. I remember those days. Like you say, that had to be somewhere around 2006?
2006, 2007, yep. Yes, correct. Yep. And listen,
yeah.
I'm just a resident just like you, just like everybody else, you know, and I want everyone to understand that as well. I want what's best for the residents of Deerfield Beach. That's what started my call to arms, so that government can do better. We can listen to the residents better. We can be involved with our constituents better. You know, we just had an election, and most of the people that you voted for, you will never, ever see in a Publix or your dry cleaners. But you will see me around town. You'll see me a lot. And so local government is the closest government to the people. And so we need to have a good relationship with our residents, because the local government affects your life way more than the president of the United States will. We love to talk about it, and it's great conversation. But the roads that you drive on, the water that you drink, the garbage that gets picked up from your house, those are all local issues that are decided here in the city of Deerfield Beach. And so that's why it's so important to have such a close connection to the residents. And I tell you, when they tried to put that cell phone tower in, that connection to the residents was not there, and I got involved.
Right. Well, that's always a good way to get involved in the community. You know, when things like that happen in the community, you always want to be a voice for the voiceless. Some people just don't want to speak up publicly. They'll come in, they'll go in there, tell all of their neighbors and everything, and but they won't go out and speak publicly about it. But you chose to do it, and look, here you are now, the vice mayor of this beautiful city, Deerfield Beach.
Yes, sir. And so that's why now, I have to speak for those residents that don't come to the commission meetings. Right. All too frequently, the meetings, are not to full capacity. And I wish they were, to get that feedback, because as local elected officials, we want to make sure that we make the best decisions for the community. And the only way that we can do that is to get the feedback from our constituents. And so we have to have a very close ear to the ground and be in the community almost on a daily and weekly basis to find out what's going on. So I know I try to do that. I put a lot of miles on my car driving around not only my district but my city, and I think we can do better going forward.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
So the big talk right now is the Monarch Hill Waste Management WM is seeking to expand approximately 16 additional years beyond the current 6-year lifespan, and they are as follows: like the county land use PLA, the LUPA change would convert the old waste energy facility along Green Road to an additional landfill space. So what they're basically saying is they would like to go up an additional, I believe, 100 feet. Am I correct?
Something like that.
From 225 to 325. So could you elaborate a little bit more on what's going on over at Monarch Hill? And I know they have a meeting tomorrow down at the governmental
Actually,
center.
they had one today.
Was it? No, it's not today, is it? Today is a holiday.
No,
was it today?
Yes, there was a meeting in Coconut Creek today. Your podcast is very timely today. So there's two things that Waste Management wants to do to the landfill out west. So the landfill is actually owned by the county. It's not City of Deerfield Beach property. It's not City of Pompano Beach property, and it's not City of Coconut Creek. But those three cities border the landfill.
Right.
And what Waste Management wants to do is to, as you correctly point out, increase the height of the dump by 100 feet from 225 to 325 feet. Now, mind you, if you go to the top of the landfill now, you can see the ocean from the turnpike. It is that high as it is right now. And it's only going to get worse. So this is an issue that is critical to all of Deerfield Beach. I don't care which district that you live in. You don't have to live right next to it, because this issue is going to affect everybody in our city. Yes. So that is going to be considered tomorrow, as well as a proposal to widen the footprint of the dump as well. There used to be a waste energy facility there that has been demolished. So they want to fill that portion in. That portion is along Wiles Road. That does abut the city of Deerfield Beach, directly against the city of Deerfield Beach, where we have residents on the other side of the street in Independence Bay and waterways. So Waste Management wants to increase the height and the length of the dump. So what happened today is, tomorrow, let me start with tomorrow first. So those two issues are before the county tomorrow. And that's at 1:30 at the governmental center in downtown Fort Lauderdale. The city is providing transportation to that meeting for any resident that wants to go from the Braithwaite Center. It'll pick up at approximately 11:45, and it will take you down to the governmental center. So you don't have to drive and find parking on your own. The city will take you. That's tomorrow at 1:30. And I implore any resident that is available tomorrow and wants to go to please come and speak out on behalf of this issue, because the squeaky wheel gets the grease, so to speak. Right. And we need to be prepared and to put on a good presentation for the county. Now, what happened today is the city of Coconut Creek had a last minute proposal on their agenda. Now, I only found out about it this morning because of an article that was online from the Florida Bulldog that said the city of Coconut Creek was having a special meeting at 1 o'clock today on Veterans Day to consider a proposal to amend an agreement that they have, that the city of Coconut Creek has with Waste Management. And in its essence, what it would do is over time, if Waste Management wanted to go above the 325 feet, not the 225 feet it is now, but if it goes above the 325 feet in the future, that they would get a $10 million payment.
So it's something in it for them.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
$10 million.
So you get paid $10 million. What are you going to do with that $10 million? You're going to spend that $10 million fighting the increase of the dump that they're trying to impose on you. So it doesn't really seem like a windfall to me. And in addition, there were other payments that the city of Coconut Creek could have received under that agreement. And what happened is there's a solid waste authority that is out there trying to come up with a regional Broward County solution for solid waste. The city of Deerfield Beach is a part of that. I'm actually the representative to it. The city of Coconut Creek is a part of it as well. And most of the municipalities in Broward County. There's 31 municipalities in Broward County. Most of them, a couple are not, but most of them are a member of the Solid Waste Authority. And that group is trying to come up with a master plan for all of Broward County for a regional solution to our trash problem. And it is a problem, and it's not going to get any better over time. So with those considerations, I'm happy to report, though, that Coconut Creek rejected that proposal 5-0. I was at that meeting. Mayor Gans was at that meeting. Our interim city manager was at that meeting. Our planning director was at that meeting today. And we told emphatically the city of Coconut Creek that we have your back. You need to have ours. The city of Deerfield Beach, we will protect our residents, their health, safety, and welfare, and we will not be bought by Waste Management or any other large corporation. We cannot be bought, and Coconut Creek said that they cannot be bought as well.
Well, that's a good thing. I did see you all on, I believe it was Channel 10 earlier. You and the mayor, you all on TV, and that's good that you all did go out there and speak up on behalf of the Deerfield Beach. And you're right. You do need to speak up for us here. We can't be bought, and I'm glad that Coconut Creek is on board with it as well. And also the people here. And I believe, I'm not sure if District 2 covers Coconut Creek, but I think it does with Broward County. If they're unhappy, they could reach out to the mayor, Nan H. Rich. His number is 954-357-7001. He is the mayor, and you could also reach out to our commissioner here in District 2, Commissioner Mark D. Bogan. His number is 954-357-7002. So you can you vote for the mayor and you vote for a commissioner here, so you can
for the county.
For the county, yes. Yep. So if you have any grievances, of course you can reach out to them. And it's good that you all are speaking up on behalf of Deerfield Beach, because I don't think we need to go up any higher than what we are right now. I've been on the top of that hill when I worked for the city of Deerfield Beach. I went up and I dumped a few times, when I was in the utilities department. And you're right, you can see the beach there, and you can see, I believe, all the way down to Fort Lauderdale. You can see the big buildings all the way down to Fort Lauderdale. Oh yeah,
I never knew that.
I've been up there. I was like, whoa, I didn't realize you could see that far down. But yes, you can see the buildings down in Fort Lauderdale.
But that's not a good thing, though. That's not a good thing.
No, it's not.
And make no doubt about it. The residents in every district, this is going to affect them. So you're going to see it. You're going to smell it. It is part of the North Broward community. And the problem that we're going to have tomorrow is, we're going to have a very big fight on our hands, because there's 9 county commissioners in total. The North Broward County commissioners will probably and hopefully be against this proposal. But the South County and the Mid County commissioners, what's their impetus to vote against it? Like, well, we don't want it in our backyard. Heck, let's put it in North Broward. Let's put it in Deerfield's backyard. So we have a big fight on our hands tomorrow, and we're going to go and we're going to do our best. And just like we did at Coconut Creek today, we're going to let them know that Deerfield Beach is not up for sale.
Right.
Mhm. And I wanted to ask you something too, Vice Mayor. If the proposal fails, and I believe I heard a few times before they only have like maybe 7 or 8 years, maybe 10 years left at that dump. I don't know if people looking far ahead, what would the options be if it isn't allowed to go as high as they want to go? What would the pros and the cons be of that to the residents of all around? I mean, especially here in Deerfield Beach, who I'm speaking to directly. What would the pros and cons of that be? Actually, once that dump is full to capacity.
So, to the residents of Deerfield Beach, there is no con, to be honest with you, because you may not realize our garbage does not go into Monarch Hill in our backyard. We are our own haulers, and we have a separate contract, and our garbage actually goes to Kissimmee.
I didn't know that.
So
I don't think most people knew that.
So this will not affect the city of Deerfield Beach. It will affect, the other cities in Broward County. And if Deerfield Beach remains a part of the Solid Waste Authority as part of the regional solution, it could affect our pricing that way. But I'm putting the cart before the horse. But Waste Management can either they have a landfill in Okeechobee, so they can take their garbage to Okeechobee, which they already do, by the way. The stinky garbage already goes to Okeechobee. They just want to put the construction and debris material into the landfill at Monarch Hill. Now, what I have to tell you, though, is the construction and debris material isn't as clean as you would think. I mean, that's the material from all of the homes and the businesses that are being torn down when you have a bathroom remodel. But that has the dust in it. That has the asbestos in it. That has like all the glue and the oils in it. That's what's going into that landfill. And there is a 10% component of stinky garbage that goes into that landfill as well. So that's what we're really, fighting for. The Solid Waste Authority, one of the proposals because the proposal hasn't come out, it's under study right now, may be to build an incinerator in the South County where there is land. So that may be a possible solution. Going to Okeechobee may be a possible solution. But certainly raising the height in Deerfield Beach is not a solution to me. And I'll tell you why. That dump was first built in 1965.
Right.
Deerfield Beach had 13,000 residents in 1965. Do you know what that area looked like in 1965? Nothing. There was nothing around it. It was empty space. But what has happened over all these years? Over the years, the county, not the city, the county has allowed development after development after development to go in. And that's fine because our population has increased and people have to live somewhere. But they've allowed these developments to go in right next to the landfill. A landfill that had a maximum height of 225 feet. And now you're going to tell those residents that bought their homes on the basis that the dump was going to only go to 225 feet. Now it's going to go to 325 feet. That's just a stick in their eye, and that is not good government.
Yes, I agree.
Right.
I agree.
I mean, that was great information to know because I never knew that. Always had thought that our garbage, I thought our garbage was going right out there to Monarch. I didn't know that. So that's good information.
Actually goes up to Kissimmee, Florida. Who hauls it up there? Waste Management?
No, we have a different operator.
Okay.
I
wonder how many people ever knew that. Yeah.
And Deerfield is uniquely positioned compared to our sister cities. Our sister cities in Broward County are reliant upon Waste Management, but we are not. We are not, and we have options outside the traditional thinking box. But we are part of the Solid Waste Working Authority, and we're going to see what master plan they come up with, and we will evaluate from there.
Okay. And you say they're going to have buses at Braithwaite tomorrow at 1:30. p.m. tomorrow.
No, sir. 11:45 is when they depart.
Okay, 11:45.
Yeah, I thought it
Because
was-
the meeting starts at 1:30 downtown.
Okay, the meeting starts at 1:30. Okay, 11:45 at Braithwaite.
If you're there for the bus at Braithwaite at 1:30, you're late.
You'll miss the meeting. Okay, thank you for that clarification.
right.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, that's definitely some good information. Anything else you want to like to add to that you think we should know
About the Monarch Hill?
The Monarch Hill,
Yeah.
hill that the people here in Deerfield and the people that may be watching us from Coconut Creek and Pompano. Certainly,
Well, I just
Pompano.
want to thank the Coconut Creek Commission for realizing the obvious that this was a tactic today by Waste Management to divide and conquer. They know that Pompano Beach and Deerfield Beach and Coconut Creek are united on this issue, and this was a way to divide us. That offer was only made to Coconut Creek. It wasn't made to Deerfield Beach. It wasn't made to Pompano Beach. We weren't even told about it. So this was a way to divide us, and it failed. And we're going to go in arm in arm tomorrow, and we're going to put up our best fight. Come hell or high water, the residents of all three cities deserve better.
Yes, and that's all we
yeah.
could do is just put up a fight. And like you said, we're battling. We're going up against an uphill battle here with the other cities that's south of us here. And again, why would you want to move? They're looking at it like if it shuts down, then we may end up getting it on our end, and we don't want to hear. So we'll vote against it. Let them keep it up there. To let them worry about it. It's been there for the past 60 years almost. So let them continue to sort it out. So, yeah, it's an uphill battle.
And the information you gave, Vice Mayor, is good because I had heard some people, and I didn't know. I mean, they asked me, like, they were like, people who was in the trash hauling business was, just talking to them, and they were like, well, it's going to cost Deerfield Beach money because Deerfield Beach takes their trash there. And you gave out that information that our trash goes to Kissimmee. So thank you for that. Again, thank you for that information.
I mean, it does cost us. Don't get me wrong. If they are given the approval, what happens when they fill in that dump? You get the dust. Those roads get very dusty. They don't put in additional landscaping. They don't increase the height of the walls. There's more increases, for fire and police. Those are all costs borne by the city of Deerfield Beach. That's what people don't realize, is that we're going to pay for this one way or the other. But I think, Waste Management, which, oh, by the way, made 7 point something billion last year, can more than afford to compensate, the city of Deerfield Beach, for the expenses that we have to go out of pocket due to their dump.
Yeah. And I remember even years ago when they were doing the annexation, I think probably about 20 something years ago, I believe Deerfield was someone, I can't remember who it was, wanted to annex that area, but that was part of the county would not allow the dump to get annexed. Am I correct?
That is correct. Yes.
Okay.
So that is county property, no city owns that dump.
Okay, yeah, because I remember that. I remember, I believe Deerfield at that time, this was like 27 years ago. I remember Deerfield saying that they wanted to get the dump, and probably looking at it now, it's probably good that we didn't get it now. Wasn't able to annex it.
Yeah, and think about this. Chew on this as well. The property that the dump is on is county-owned property, but it's run. Who's it run by? Is it run by the county? No, it's run by Waste Management.
Waste Management.
So go figure that sweetheart deal.
Yeah, there's some backroom deals being made there. I can tell you that much. Probably, more than likely. So, well, we're hopefully. Has there been any talk with the city of Pompano Beach elected officials for them to also go down like with Coconut Creek and Deerfield to?
Everyone banding together.
Everyone go down at the same
in
time.
Unison.
The mayors and the commissioners. I know you mentioned Coconut Creek, but any talk with Pompano? I'm sure there has been.
There has been, yes. Pompano Beach actually is not a member of the Solid Waste Authority. They opted out. They're one of the few cities that has. So is Pembroke Pines. They have opted out. So They are not as engaged. I know their commission is aware of the issue tomorrow. I certainly hope that they show up in unison, because again, a large portion of this border is along their property as well.
Right.
It is.
Sure is.
It is. Just,
Yes.
yeah, just a little bit north of Pompano. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, you're very correct.
So that's the update on the Monarch Hill. And we've been, if you're just joining us, we're talking to the City of Deerfield Beach Vice Mayor Todd Drosky, District 4. He's the current District 4 commissioner here in the City of Deerfield Beach. So moving on, is there any, I know you're term limited out here in Deerfield Beach. You can't run again as a commissioner.
Yep.
And there's been rumors that you will be running for mayor. Is there any truth to that?
That's official.
Boy, that's a softball.
I like to hear from I like to hear from the horse's mouth.
That's a softball if I ever saw one, but I'll take it. I'll swing at that one. Absolutely. Yes. It's no rumor. It's the truth. I am absolutely running for mayor. I was first elected in 2017 in District 4. I was reelected in 2021 without opposition. I am term limited in March of 2025, and I am running for mayor. That is correct, sir.
Right. So you're going to be running for mayor. Do you have any plans that anything that you'd like to see for Deerfield Beach as mayor? I know you've been the commissioner, but as mayor, what is your vision for Deerfield Beach here? If you could kind of elaborate on that a little
Moving
bit. Moving forward.
I hope you have enough bandwidth to cover.
We do.
I've got a lot to talk about, and I have a very expansive vision for the city of Deerfield Beach. But I think a couple of the items that are probably most of interest to your viewers is we need some stimulation, economic stimulation on Dixie Highway. I have watched, for 8 years of minimal progress, and that cannot remain. Absolutely not. That Dixie Highway goes through the heart, the core of Deerfield Beach. And it breaks my heart every time I go through there to see that not keeping pace with the rest of the city. So it's easy to say that, but how do we address it? What do we need to do going forward? There needs to be some real dialogue between the commission, the elected officials, and the residents of District 2 and the business owners along that corridor. And I mean, not just have a charrette and, okay, we'll come back to you with some ideas, and then nobody ever does. That's not acceptable anymore. We need to get in a room, lock the door, and have a conversation with each other as to what do we all want to see on that corridor. We all want to see it done, but there's not a reason why it hasn't. And I am of the opinion that we just need that one spark along there, and then then it'll fall like dominoes, literally along Dixie Highway to create, a more vibrant Deerfield Beach. What has the city done? We've done some small things. If you look on the east side of Dixie Highway along the train tracks, we put in the fence with landscaping. Looks small, nice. It's very small thing the city could do. We got criticized because of the cost. Keep in mind, we received some federal grants too, so not nearly all that money was on the city, by the way. But if you look at it now and you're driving through our city for the first time or for the second time, you notice the difference right away. You notice it right away. So that's one small thing that the city has done to try to beautify the area, to say we mean business. We want to be a partner with the business community, with the residents to improve that area. So that's one thing that's extremely high on my list. I think we need somebody in the economic development team of color to be a part of that team, if not the lead point, because who's going to communicate better to District 2? You need someone that is part of that sees the lens the same way, and that's how we start that conversation. And I'm serious about it, because this is my city too. I mean, I live here. I'm a resident just like the rest of you. I want what's the best. So that's really, really high on my list. Is some economic development, especially for the District 2. Now, District 1 on the S curve along the beach, they could use it too, and and Hillsborough Boulevard. When you go from A1A to Federal Highway, there's some businesses along there that could need some help as well. But those are the areas that we really need to concentrate on.
Right. And we grew up right there along the Dixie corridor there, right on 2nd Street and Dixie Highway. We grew up there. Our grandparents who moved here in 1913. They had a house there right off of Dixie and Southwest 2nd Street behind the old Club Bailey, Diamond Club.
You might have heard about that back in the days.
Yeah, you may have heard about the old Diamond Club. We lived.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, we lived right back there, and that back in the 70s, 60s, and 70s, and through the 80s. There was some black businesses down through there, and they thrived.
A lot.
They thrived, and they were doing very well. And we'd like to see that come back again. It's been many years since we've seen businesses there that you could just walk from the neighborhood and walk up to, and we used to call it the Front Street.
Front Street back in the days.
Back in the day, and we used to just walk up there, and there was little mom and pop restaurants. There was a pool room there. There was some mom and pop grocery stores,
barbershops, hair salons,
everything.
Game rooms
back for in the kids. Day. Everything was there.
There for
kept us out of trouble back in those days. So certainly, moving forward, fast forward here in the future, some of those things might still work, there in the future, in the present. But again, we'd like to see some of those things come back to that Dixie corridor. It certainly needs to be built up and developed and bring in some businesses. Are there any incentives for businesses to come here and build? Like, can you offer them some tax breaks or something like that to build to bring a business here to Deerfield Beach?
We do have the Hire DFB program right now. As if you hire locals, you do get tax breaks that way as well. Yes, but it's really going to involve a conversation among the city and the residents. The residents have to trust the city going forward, and we need to have that conversation. I mean, why hasn't it been done to this particular point in time? So there's folks that are along that corridor that are just basically holding on to property like postage stamps, and so we need to make sure that we communicate to them that the highest and best use of the property is not vacant. And so we're not encouraging poor development, but something that we all can live with. And we don't do that until we talk, with one another and not at one another.
And you're correct, because that's what a lot of the meetings that were attended in the past, you had you had people in there like arguing at each other and arguing, and the next thing you know, you start seeing droves of people go to getting up, leaving. So nothing was never accomplished. I remember going back 50 years ago, my grandmother always talked about Dixie. And I tell this story all the time. She would always tell us as we were kids about this road coming through, and when this road come through, it's gonna be. She just had a vision way back then of it was gonna make life better for everyone over there. And my grandmother was saying that back in around 1975, 76. Here we are now, 2024, and I'm still waiting on her, she's gone now, but I'm still waiting on her vision to come to fruition, because she would always talk about that. When I tell you, she would talk about, I know whenever they do come through and get development, that I can just see her celebrating up in heaven, because that's all she used to talk about to us as kids. And she might have thought we wasn't listening, but here we are. Here I am 58 years later, and I can still hear her voice right now talking about Dixie Highway. And matter of fact, and I'm going to let you move on and go to your vision, what you got for Deerfield, because this is your time. I just came through there just going to church yesterday, and I saw a guy planting trees like around the perimeter of his land, around First Court or Second Court and Second Street. And I'm like, he's planting trees. So I don't know if that, hopefully, that wasn't a good sign to me that they're gonna sell or do something or try to get something done. Because if you go and ride down there, you'll see he planted trees around the whole, he had the guys out there in a square around the whole property. And I'm like, man, I don't know if that's a good sign or a bad sign. But
I can't imagine it's a good sign. I saw it, and I know exactly what you're talking about. But let's not disappoint your grandmother.
Yeah.
Let's have that. And listen, I'm not just, making a false promise here. I'm going to spear this campaign, and I'm going to be a part of the charge to have that conversation. I'm going to be at every single one of those meetings, and I'm going to be the one that holds that key and locks that door until we have those conversations. So this isn't something that I just thought of to run for office. This is something I've been thinking about for 8 years, and now is the time to do that.
And another thing I've been advocating for, when you go east of Dixie Highway, you see the nice paver bricks all the way over to the beach, just about, I believe. And what are the better place to put those nice paver bricks and the nice palm trees is east of Dixie Highway, between I-95 and Dixie, the sidewalks and everything. I've been really advocating for that for years. I'd like to hopefully the commission could see find some money, find somewhere that we could get the sidewalks nice, and the nice paver bricks and everything, and hopefully that'll be a part of the plan. That does go through District 2 as well, so you'll be hearing me bring that up on the podcast and out in public too as well. So that'll be one of the things that I like to see as well in District 2.
Okay, we thought we had lost you for a moment. Let him finish on what he's.
I don't know if that was me or you. I apologize. I didn't move. I've stayed here the whole
Yeah,
time.
we didn't touch anything either.
Yeah,
our equipment there and some right here, but no, we'll let you go on and finish, Vice Mayor.
Listen,
your
if
vision.
You want to talk to me, just say so or whatever.
Oh no. We wanted you on here years ago, but it was just a disconnect there. We're glad to have you on here, but we like for you to continue on with your vision for Deerfield Beach as mayor.
So just real quick, east of Federal Highway is the Community Redevelopment Agency. That's a different, taxes come differently from there. So projects have to be within that particular district. So that's why you see more brick and mortar projects east of Federal than you do anywhere else in the city, including my own district. And that's because that was set up a long time ago. It's set to sunset a couple years from now. The biggest scam is the commission at that time did not open a CRA for District 2.
Where it should have been.
That was the bum rush, that happened back then. And that should have been because it's for, blight and slum is basically what a CRA is for. And so that's what, we should have done for District 2. I'm okay with District 1 having it. Don't get me wrong. I mean, because that's the economic engine of our city. But they should have done it for District 2 as well, and they didn't. I wish I could go back in time, but I can't.
Yes.
Can't. So we got to move forward. We keep seeing that glitch. Hopefully that's not.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. I didn't see it again. But one last thing, Vice Mayor, before we let you move on to again, I exercise up and down Dixie Highway as well, and when they put in the nice shrub and the nice grass and everything over there, and then later on they came, they had repaired the sidewalks, and I took some pictures of it as well. They repaired the sidewalks prior to that, and then when they got the nice grass and all the shrubs and everything in there, it was looking real nice. They came through later on and they started putting in palm trees, and I believe they used some sort of a heavy equipment or maybe some tractor or something to drill a hole in the ground or whatever, but they broke up all of the sidewalks. And I walk that way every single morning, and hopefully they can address that, in the future. I know you're not the mayor yet, but I've also talked to Commissioner Preston about that as well, that those sidewalks they are broken up. And I'm saying this to say that when they go south of 10th Street, they're probably going to do the same thing. And I know those sidewalks aren't broken up now. So hopefully we can make a mental note of that. We'll put those palm trees in the future, that if they come through and they break up those sidewalks, they need to be held accountable. That they need to repair them as well.
No, absolutely. And that's something we should be doing now. So if you tell me, not now, offline, sidewalk between streets A and B, I'll make sure that we look into that, because that's what municipal government does. When I talked about roads you drive on and your water, that's the other thing that the city does is sidewalks. And oh, by the way, there's a lot of places in District 2 where we have sidewalks to nowhere. They don't connect.
Yeah.
You can walk
And
on the
they've been,
sidewalk and then no sidewalk again. That needs
Yep.
to be fixed.
yeah. And they have been doing that. I noticed they have been doing that over the last few years. That has been getting done.
We've been putting money into the budget to make sure that gets connected. Yes, correct.
Good job. Good job. Okay, moving forward, is there anything else that you would like us to know about Todd Drosky?
Yeah, he wasn't finished. He was on a roll.
Right.
Yeah, he had a list. Go on.
I did ask you about a list, but go ahead.
Go ahead.
I've got a long list.
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, pop some popcorn, get a drink or whatever. We could be here for a while. But the other thing that I want to promote is the Pioneer Grove and a concept of a downtown for the city of Deerfield Beach. What that exactly looks like, we're going to need a lot of resident input into, but we can really be transformative into what Deerfield Beach looks like. And I'm not saying we have to be Pompano Beach or Boca Raton, because I don't want to be Pompano Beach and I don't want to be Boca Raton. And I'm going to make that very, very clear right here. But we also cannot be left behind as well. It's a competition between our sister cities, and we have to keep up to a certain degree, and we need to be sensible in doing so.
Yeah.
So the downtown Deerfield Beach concept would be basically where the City Hall police station complex is right now. And it would incorporate Pioneer Park as well. And it's basically a remodel of that entire area, with a new City Hall and refurbishments to Pioneer Park. And I think one of the most exciting, and I think you guys will love to hear this, one of the most exciting things that can be done in Pioneer Park, which backs up, to the canal there, you can actually have an amphitheater in that park with that as the backdrop. Now, I know there's several places in the city where you can possibly have an amphitheater, but that park with that backdrop, with that location, I think would be very exciting. And you would draw people to the downtown area. You would have a new City Hall building. You'd have to have some residential in there as well. Now you're going to ask, how do you pay for all of this? We're going to have to get together with a developer and do what's called a P3, public-private partnership, where, we have to offer them, some of the land, and they build on it, because they're going to want to return on their investment. There's no developer that's going to do this for free because they're just nice guys or altruistic. So we're going to have to partner with somebody, but it's going to have to be at a size that we like, a size that we can live with. And what amenities do we want to see? So if you have a new police station, and if you've been to that police station, you'd be embarrassed to go into it.
Oh, yeah.
The City Hall, which is right next door, is not much better. I was in Coconut Creek today. They have a very nice City Hall complex.
It's awesome.
A chamber that you'd want to go into and sit down and listen to a meeting or go see your commissioner. You come into my office at City Hall and it's raining. You need an umbrella to keep the rain off your head. So it's literally that bad. So if we're going to compete with our cities that are around us, we have to at least look semi-decent out there. And this is one way to do that. So I'm really looking forward to the feedback of all of Deerfield Beach, in particular District 1 and 2 residents, which border that area, as to what really do they want to see there. Are you okay with the way that it looks now? Or are you okay with something fresh that could come there and give us these amenities that I was talking about? Basically a new Pioneer Park, with an amphitheater on the water there that would bring people into our community, that would want them to, spend money at our businesses. That's really what I want to see. And, oh, by the way, very close to that, you have the East Water Well Treatment Center, which has been decommissioned. So that area could very well be envisioned as an arts and cultural district as well. And I think that's the perfect place for it to go.
Yeah, I do too.
The perfect place for it to go. And so, so if you were to have a downtown and then an arts district, a small part away, I think you could really revitalize the downtown Deerfield Beach. And if Dixie Highway is not stimulated on its own, then perhaps that development will force its way down Dixie Highway as well to make it be developed as well. And in that way, all of Deerfield Beach is brought, together.
Yeah, and I just wanted to say this real quick. I want you to keep going. I don't want you to get off. Definitely, for me, being here all my life, going to school, we used to go to Deerfield Elementary near the Plaster Police Station, east of that, and that area has looked the same. And I know we have, residents. I heard at the meetings come there and say, "Well, how are we going to pay for it?" Yeah, we have to all sit down and look at ways to paying for it. But for me, that area has looked the same since I was 5 years old, going to kindergarten at Deerfield Beach Elementary, and it needs change over at City Hall. It would be nice to have, we travel, me and my brother travel all the time, and we see other public safety departments and City Hall. Everything is in one when we have went to places like California, Los Angeles, and other places. So to me, that area needs change over there. I'm for change, sensible change over there in that area. New City Hall, I'm for all of that. New police department. I don't want to compete with other places, but I do want our city to look nice. I believe in beautification here for our city.
Right. I want Deerfield Beach to be exactly that, Deerfield Beach. I don't need it to be some other city. We have our own identity and how we want to, progress as we go forward. If you look at Coconut Creek, this is just by coincidence, by the way, they're planning their own downtown area. So right now there's an empty field. I think there's agriculture on it. If you are on Lyons Road, just close to Sample Boulevard, Sample and Lyons, there's that big field right there. That's going to be all that's been sold, and that's going to become their downtown area. And they're putting in residential and shops, and so they are. That would be too big for Deerfield Beach, but but that's what they're thinking about. You have Pineapple Grove in Delray Beach. Look at that area, what it used to look like, and how they remodeled it. So I think we can do good things in Deerfield Beach. The one thing that I have to emphasize 1,000 times over is that the residents have to be part of the process every step of the way. We need their input, beginning, middle, and end. Because this is a project that we all have to live with, and we all need to make sure it's the best that we can get it. Yes.
Yes. And Darryl, what is that area over by Bar Lewis out in Coconut Creek? What is that?
Oh, that's the promenade. The promenade.
That is a nice area. Deerfield Beach. If Deerfield Beach can get something even similar to that, I go out there. It is very nice out at the promenade out there.
Myself, and that's going to be where the area you're talking about. They're planning on redeveloping is south of that. So it's a big open field, and I believe that's a little bit east of the casino. I believe the casino is just west of that.
Yes, sir. You're 100% right. So I'm not saying we need a promenade in Deerfield Beach,
right?
Like a mini promenade, perhaps.
Mini promenade, yes.
You want to put that kind of vision in your head. That's where I'm. Yes.
Yep.
Right. And those are some good ideas. And I did bring that up to a few people out in public. I said, hey man, that old East Water Treatment Plant, where I used to work there on the midnight shift making drinking water 20 something years ago. And they got an old storage tank across the street there. Maybe they could, if they decide to put a cultural arts center there or something like that, you can probably make a little parking garage or something. I'm just brainstorming, but the same thing I do out in public, I'm saying here behind these microphones. But that's a good location for it. You're absolutely right, and I'm really hoping and praying for an amphitheater. And I know I've been advocating for that for years and years, and it's going to continue. So and I did offer Mr. Warner a solution as well. I said if you can't find a place, I said get with Broward County and see if you could get with Broward County and build Partner one in back of somewhere inside of Quiet Waters Park there. There's another option.
I'm greedy. I don't want to share with the county.
Me either. I want it right here in the heart.
This is our idea that I actually stole from you, so this is something that we want in the heart of our city. I don't want to share it with the county.
Right. That's good. We want our own anyway. So but go ahead, sir.
Absolutely. The other thing, which is going to be super critical that we keep an eye on going forward, is Southwest 10th Street. Because from I-95 to the Sawgrass Expressway, the Florida Department of Transportation is going to completely remodel that road. We have been fighting that project since before I was elected. So before I was elected, there was a committee of residents, 9 from Deerfield Beach, 9 from the surrounding communities, that met with the Florida Department of Transportation that said, if Southwest 10th Street were to ever be remodeled, what is your vision? What would you like for it to be? And Florida Department of Transportation's vision for that road was a double-decker highway through the middle of our city. And that was a complete, absolute non-starter. No, 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 and no. I can't say no enough, because that would the flyover, as they call it, would be right along Century Village. Those poor residents would have to look at a flyover in their backyard. In addition to the south side, where you have Waterford Homes and Waterford Courtyards as well. So over the years, so I was part of that committee well before I was elected. And I'm like, this is something we have to continue to monitor, because if you fall asleep at the switch and you let FDOT do what FDOT wants to do, you're going to get the worst project there. And let me step back a little bit too. So now I'm going to get a little technical on you, is that all of the roadway projects in Broward County are actually planned and funded by an agency that 99% of the people never heard of, the Broward Metropolitan Planning Organization.
MPO.
The MPO, yes, sir.
Yep.
Absolutely. And I know you guys would know, but a lot of people don't. And the MPO directs where those dollars and those projects go. And so for many years, 10th Street was off limits, but now it's back on their radar because they want to connect Sawgrass Expressway to I-95. The MPO has one representative from each of the 31 cities in Deerfield Beach. So Deerfield is 131st in the entire county. If this were to go to a vote in the entire county, are we going to have a majority of votes to squash this project? Absolutely not. I mean, the communities around us want it. Coral Springs wants it. Parkland wants it. Even communities as far away as Sunrise wants it. They want to be able to connect, their residents all the way through without having to go through the middle of our city without having to stop. But just like the dump, again, the county has allowed development to go onto that corridor over the years. If there was nothing along that corridor, if it was like 595 and it was, business or industrial, maybe we'd be having a different conversation. But you have residential right up against that road, Waterford Courtyards, Waterford Homes, Century Village. It's not fair to those residents that have bought, along those ways. So we need to continue to fight for them. This is always it's never been about stopping the project. We've never had the votes to do that, especially with the governor that wants this project so bad. So what we need to do is to make this the worst project in Deerfield Beach. And we've been able to do that. There's no more flyover. The flyover's gone.
Okay.
That's not it. And we've received some landscaping. There's going to be decorative sound walls along the corridor. So we've done a lot to minimize the impacts to that project. But we need somebody that's going to bulldog that project going forward. Because the second you fall asleep at the switch, FDOT is going to come in and do whatever they want. And we have been fighting like cats and dogs behind the scenes for many years to get the best project we can for Deerfield Beach. And I'm telling you, going forward, because not a shovel has gone in the ground yet on that project, we're going to need a strong mayor who knows the players with the Florida Department of Transportation, who knows the elected officials of the cities around us, to make sure that Deerfield Beach does not get screwed.
Now, let me ask you one question too, Vice Mayor. I heard people in the past say that the current mayor and candidate Drosky are joined at the hip, and it's not a difference. Can you tell our viewers what makes you different from the current mayor, and that's not no knock at him. I'm just saying I hear people say that they're like the same. He was his campaign manager one time. What makes you different than the current mayor we have right now?
I mean, listen, the current mayor and I are from the same district. So of course we're going to know each other. Mayor Gans was involved in the cell phone tower project back in 2006. That's how I met Mayor Gans, was through that particular project. So of course I know him. And of course he knows me. That's not a secret. But I think we have very different personalities going forward. My day job is I'm an attorney, so not that anyone else isn't, but I'm very well reasoned. I do the research, and I kind of bring a calm demeanor to the meetings, and that's exactly what I would do as the mayor going forward. I mean, if you look at our voting records, we have not voted the same all of the time. Actually, far from it. So there are many times where we have voted differently. And so I would tell people we are not joined at the hip. Look at our voting records. Look at what we've said in commission meetings. It's very politically expedient for others to say that. They may want to try to run for mayor, but if you actually look at the facts, it couldn't be any farther from the truth.
Yeah, and we have a comment. Someone from since you said that, someone from the Ocean Pearl Motel said to ask Todd to agree to debate the other candidate, Dan Hertz. The residents deserve to hear from both candidates. So they're asking, will you agree to a debate with Mr. Hertz?
I will debate Mr. Hertz every day of the week and twice on Sunday.
Okay, so whoever Ocean Pearl Motel, there's your answer. Vice Mayor Drosky said he will debate Mr. Hertz anytime.
And maybe we'll host it as well. Maybe we'll put together a candidate for. That
would be wonderful. Now, also keep in mind, I do not expect this to be a 2-person race. Qualifying ends in January. This is an open seat. The last time there was an open seat, there were 5 or 6 individuals that ran for mayor. I expect it probably to be pretty close to that this time as well. So it's not just me against anyone else. There will be others.
Whoever the candidates are, we would like to talk to all of them. And if you want to be the mayor of this city, we believe that the people should be able to walk up to a microphone and ask a question. Ask the candidates a question. So in the future, hopefully we'll be able to put a candidate forum together that will be questions about Deerfield Beach and strictly and not favored towards one other candidate. They will be strictly about the
business of the city
and the vision of Deerfield Beach, which we all hold dearly to our hearts. So we all want to see what's best for Deerfield. At the end of the day, I believe we all want to see what's best for Deerfield Beach.
Right. And I have one other question too, Vice Mayor, that came through it. It says, ask when a meeting is held with the residents of District 2, can't we have a conceptual plan where the residents can view and make changes and suggestions? And I believe that conceptual plan might have been talking about Dixie Highway. I'm not for sure, or maybe some of the other changes that you were talking about. But the question was asked, can the residents of District 2 have a conceptual plan where the residents can view and make changes and suggestions to what it's saying?
The answer is absolutely yes. Now, I'm not 100% sure what the caller is specifically referring to. We did have the Urban Land Institute come in and do an analysis of the Dixie Highway corridor for us, and they did a report, and they made some suggestions, what could be done along that particular corridor. So we do have a plan in hand, if that's what they're talking about. It's just a suggestion. It's nothing that's set in stone. We can do this Deerfield's way. So, of course, any suggestions or alterations that need to be made, of course, we can do that along the way, which is exactly why we have conversations, to find out what everybody wants, so we all can participate. Yes.
Yeah. And also, I have a question, too. The other night at the meeting last week, it was, which shows, too, that you did vote different from the mayor on that. It was the deputy city manager who was elevated to the interim city manager after Santucci left. And then he was actually voted to go back to his old position, and public safety director Rodney Brimlow was elevated up to the interim city manager. I wanted to ask you, do you think moving forward, looking for a city manager, will that hurt this city in looking for a city manager? Because I was just saying too that if a good candidate was looking at what happened the other night, would that scare them away? So I wanted to get your opinion on that.
Let me start by saying I hope it doesn't, because I want the best candidates, internal and external, to apply. Because again, I want what's best for Deerfield Beach, and so that's considering the entire talent pool that's out there. Have we tainted the talent pool by switching interim city managers? I hope not. My comments at the meeting were, I think we have, because if I'm an external candidate looking at Deerfield Beach, and you have switched horses in the middle of a race, it kind of tells me you've picked which horse you want to be on. So why should I enter the race? And I hope that's not the case. I hope we get as many qualified candidates as possible. But it is distinctly possible that we have, and that's why one of the reasons why I voted no against that particular proposal to switch interim city managers. And in addition to that, Mr. McHugh was doing a fine job in my opinion.
Yeah. I think a lot has to do with a lot communication, but I think Harris' management style is a little bit different, and I just think a little bit more communication. I think things could have been worked out, but I hope too. I for one hope that the candidate pool was not tainted. It did look bad for me as sitting here. I was like, man, if I was sitting and I had my name in the hat, I'll be kind of scared to even go there and work, because I think I'll be afraid of my job if I did get chosen as a city manager. That's just me. That's just my opinion. How I was saying things can be totally different. As the mayor said, I don't sit up there on the dais, but I think I've been here long enough, and I think I've been around in life long enough to see that wasn't a good look, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. It wasn't a good look, but the city made the decision, and I think we just have to forge on from here on now.
Well, we do. It was a 3-2 vote. Myself and Commissioner Preston were against. But now the thing that we have done and that we're good as a commission is, once the decision has been made, we move forward. Nothing is personal up there. Everybody votes what they think is in, what they believe is in the best interest of Deerfield Beach. And sometimes we have different opinions what those best interests are. So, but that was one example of, how I definitely voted different from the mayor. Correct.
Exactly. And I wanted to make that clear to the viewers. Well, I have seen you numerous of times vote different from the mayor. And like you say, hey, that's how it goes sometimes.
That's why you have to watch the meetings online, or you have to attend the meetings, so you would know how a lot of these elected officials vote. And you can always go back. It's public record. You can always go back and request it as well.
Yes.
Yeah, hey, listen, I mean, if there's any questions, call me. My number, you can find my number on the internet or my email. I'm not very hard to find, So if anyone has any questions or comments, I mean, call me up, and ask me direct. Don't listen to sound bites on the internet, which is full of misinformation.
It is.
Okay. Good information to know. And I hope our viewers take that into consideration, what Vice Mayor Drosky just said. If you have any questions, you can give him a call. I'm quite sure stop by his office or whatever is needed. And anything else you want to add on?
Add on before we let you go?
Well, I just want to thank you for the time. I have a whole long list. Maybe we can do this another day,
Yeah, so, you can always come back.
You're welcome to come back anytime
you can come back.
You have, I believe you have my number, but I know you have Wayne's number.
You can come back whenever you want to. Just let us know. We'll bring you back. I mean, we know it was time. It was a lot of time with the Monarchs, but yeah, we can bring you back, and I mean we'll do that to the other candidates too. To be fair to them, we'll bring them back too. I mean, between here and March is a long time, so yeah, I want to be fair to everyone. So, but you're welcome to come back and finish what you're doing, Vice Mayor. I give you that promise right now.
Right. Yeah, no, I have a lot of ideas for our city.
Yeah, so, and we want to hear them too.
So I appreciate you taking the time and just listening to me tonight.
And I would want you to come back because tonight some glitch. I don't know what it was, man. It's the devil or something. Yeah. We usually on Facebook and YouTube, but for some reason we're only on YouTube right now. So I definitely want you to come back. Right. If you can come back here within the next, when you find some time again here, you got until March, please. I want you to come back, and I want to hear everything else that you had to say, and I'll let your other whoever your opponent is, we'll give them that same we'll give them the same choice too.
Another opponent wants to come on, so we'll be having that person on here, I think next week, the week after that. So if the other opponents are other mayor candidates, potentials out there, you're watching, if you'd like to come on the podcast and talk about your vision for Deerfield Beach, we're neutral here. We just like to hear from everyone. So we've been talking,
and we want you to come back. So
yes.
You will be back.
I'm very transparent. My life, my career is an open book. My voting record. I have an 8-year voting record. I'm extremely proud of it. I think it has moved Deerfield Beach forward and positioned us for great prosperity going forward. And I will defend it going forward. Absolutely. So I have nothing to be afraid of.
No. Oh, we'll have you back. We'll contact you. You'll be back on here because we want, actually, I mean, from here to March, I would love for everybody to come back twice, so I think the residents deserve it. You deserve it. And I think the residents deserve the same thing. Someone running for mayor, I want to see them come back, not just once, but twice.
Okay. I'll be here. Excellent. Thank you.
So we've been talking to Vice Mayor Todd Drosky. He's a candidate for mayor here in the city of Deerfield Beach. We want to thank you for stopping by, talking to the Adams brothers here on our podcast. And again, you're welcome back anytime you want. Again, happy Veterans Day to all the veterans out there. And thank you for watching, and enjoy the rest of your evening. Good night, sir.
Yes, sir. Good night.
All right, good night. Thank you.
And we'll see you back.
I'll be back. Thank you, guys.
You're welcome.